Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Bros Review Show. This is a special episode. We're in our chocolate shop.
This is the place where the magic happens.
This is why you know we are qualified to review chocolate bars, because we have a chocolate shop and we make all of these products.
That's right. These are our products. We have hats, logo hats. You can't have a logo hat by law, by congressional mandate. You can't have a logo hat unless you're legit.
Yeah, I would posit that any review show, let's call it wine, chocolate, what else? Beer, any kind of a product reveal. If you don't have a logoed hat, I wouldn't trust that person.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't trust them. So we're Adam and Brian. We own the company Fortunato Chocolate. This is one of our 2 retail locations in the city of Issaquah, Washington.
Yes.
You can check us out online at www.fortunatochocolate.com. The purpose of this show is for us to review other people's chocolate.
Also to work on our vocal skills so that our voice doesn't break quite as heavy when we're doing the intro.
Did my voice break?
It just did. You're like, this show.
I don't think people even noticed until you pointed it out.
Well, that's why I pointed it out.
Oh, yeah,
I want to make
right.
sure everybody notices what's going on here.
Once an older bro.
That's right. Always an older bro.
Always an older bro.
That's right.
So for many, there's 2 reasons for the show. For a long time, we have just been eating these products back here. And I think we became quite accustomed to them.
Yes.
And so now we are reviewing other people's chocolate to remind us what else is out there. And I think just before we started filming here, we both agreed that it's been good for us to see what else is out there.
It really has. And the other thing is, it's getting warmer right now, and we do not use thermal shipping materials, so we have a hard time shipping to lots of our very loyal customers, who we appreciate. If you're watching this, thank you so much. Sometimes people need an alternative to what we do, what we make in those hotter months, and so we want to give people some ideas of something they can find at a grocery store, at a department store, something that's near them.
Department store, heavy chocolate section.
Well, I'm talking about like a Walmart or a Target that also has a food
That's
section.
fair. That's fair. Yep. And so along those lines, we're trying to focus on bars that are widely accessible rather than specialty bars that you might only find in a really boutique gourmet chocolate shop.
That's right.
Today, because we're about to open the shop and we got to cut straight to it, we're gonna have to limit the banter today. I'm sorry. I know how much people love the banter.
That's what they're really tuning in for, obviously.
So today we're gonna be reviewing this Ferrero Rocher bar. You see
Ferrero Rocher.
Rocher. What kind of name is this?
This is it's a really common product that you see almost everywhere. I think they're they're less known for their chocolate bars and more known for these little balls that are on the front, which are and it's all hazelnut related.
For truffle boxes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all chocolate and hazelnut, and this is in fact a milk hazelnut and almond. I'm pretty sure that's what they hang their hat on.
Is the hazelnut products.
A hazelnut almond filling inside various presentations, and this is in fact, now, this is something you will see in gas stations. This is industrial candy.
But what's interesting about it is because of the name, Ferrero Rocher. Ferrero Rocher. It sounds Italian to me.
Growing
or French.
up, I had the idea that this was a fancy thing.
Me too, because the name is foreign, and I think somehow Americans think that anything from Europe is exotic and better.
That's right. Now, I don't know if this actually is from Europe. It's Ferrero Rocher USA.
You want me to read it? You don't have your
no,
glasses.
it's okay. But so, looking at the ingredients before we film this, I'm just going to get it right out there. This is candy, industrial candy. This ingredient list is making me the opposite of wanting to put this in my mouth. Yeah. So we've got sugar, cocoa butter, skim milk powder, palm oil, red strike number 1, hazelnuts, cocoa mass, almonds, milk powder. Is that skim milk powder and milk powder?
Something called butter oil.
Butter oil. Now, I've never heard of that, but it sounds awful. Yeah, I'm expecting a rancid butter taste after reading that. Cocoa powder, lecithin as emulsifier, salt, natural, and artificial flavors. So there's 3 big strikes there: palm oil, butter oil, whatever that is, and natural and artificial flavors.
The thing about putting all of those oils into chocolate is that cacao already has a source of fat in it.
Yeah.
Because usually, on average, half of a cocoa bean is already cocoa butter.
That's right.
Now, sometimes you add cocoa butter for textural reasons. And there's other reasons why you might add cocoa butter if you've had some cacao that's maybe a little bit off and you want to dilute the bad post-harvest processing of the cacao. But in general, chocolate doesn't need all kinds of other oils because it already has its own source of fat.
It's to save money. Cocoa butter costs more than palm oil and whatever butter oil is. So in this bar, 3 of the top 9 ingredients are fats, and 2 of them are not natural cocoa fat. So I think what we're going to get here is exactly what we think it is.
But before we dig into it again, just to reiterate, this is a good example of how, like branding, this sort of looks like an old world European kind of thing. Branding can get you to ignore what the product actually is.
That's right.
This is a good example of that.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a thin mold, and you can see that it's. I'm just gonna get right out and say the inclusions are kind of inartfully put in there. It seems like it's almost a filled bar, rather than inclusion bar.
I will give them credit for it's not actually a pouch. This is just the rippable foil that we don't like.
So yeah,
and then the box is not easily resealable.
So this is a filled bar. This is not an inclusion bar. This is a thin layer of chocolate on the top and bottom and a filling on the inside. So they've stuck with their filled. So this smells like walking down the marshmallow part of the grocery store, and it's already melting.
It's all sugar. And it's already melting on our hands because there's so much fat that it doesn't temper well.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's very sweet.
Oof.
But we got to be honest, because we set this up a certain way, but you can go first or I can go first.
Well, go ahead.
This is actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We were setting this up.
There's no like rancid butter flavor.
There's no rancid butter flavor, and we were setting again. We already knew going in that we were kind of reviewing candy. This isn't going to have very much cacao flavor.
Right.
It's not really going to taste like chocolate. But
I'll say this.
Listen, we've talked about this over and over again, and you brought it up that this company is entirely hazelnut themed.
Yeah.
The hazelnut filling is pretty good.
The almond and hazelnut flavor is where it should be for this product. It says candy, but since it's almond and hazelnut candy, the almonds and hazelnuts actually do come through.
They're good, and it's
so sweet and it's very oily.
Yes, I mean, and if you're looking for an example of good chocolate,
this
is not chocolate. But
if you want a sweet candy with hazelnut and almond flavor,
but listen,
this is that.
But we've mentioned on previous shows how sometimes a well done inclusion will pull up the rest of the product.
Right.
And so this is not what I was expecting, but I actually like the hazelnut almond filling here and think it's well done. It's not overly sweet. And to me, it's balancing off what we can otherwise write off as, because we can just look at the ingredient list and know that the chocolate's not going to be of high quality. But
okay, so I'm not a big almond or hazelnut fan. I don't like it because those aren't flavors that I typically am looking for. But I'm gonna be fair to the Ferrero Rocher folks. What they're trying to do, they've done.
Correct.
It's a successful. It's a successful result for what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a sweet candy with a dominant hazelnut almond, and they know it's sweet, and that's what their people want. They've done that. The sweetness plays with the almonds and the hazelnut. The filling tastes like what you would want an almond hazelnut filling to taste like. I wouldn't eat this because it's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
And the flavors that it's giving, it's giving it, but they're not the flavors that I want. But they've done what they said they were going to do, and they've done it successfully.
Well, and even as I'm letting this, and since I do like hazelnuts and almonds more than you do.
Yes.
And I'm getting the lingering almond here, and it almost reminds me of what's the pastry, the almond pastry?
Oh gosh, biscotti?
No, not biscotti. Anyways, the aftertaste here.
You tell we're chocolate guys and not pastry guys.
The aftertaste here is giving me like a really nice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. The aftertaste here is giving me like this really nice trailing flavor of like an almond, like when a muffin has an almond, like glazed almonds on it.
Okay.
And I like hazelnuts. Now you can make the case that you could just get some gianduja. Is that how you say it?
Giandui.
Giandui?
Giandui. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the hazelnut paste, the hazelnut butter.
Yeah.
You can make the case that if you like hazelnuts, you could go for that. For me, also, this is too sweet.
Much too sweet for me.
It's much too sweet. But the filling.
But it's candy. We got to be.
It's candy. But
if you go to an action movie and then you're like, too much gunfire. Well, you went to an action movie.
But I was expecting something way of much lower quality than what we're getting here.
And I was expecting the tail taste of it to be really nasty. It's not. There's no. So it's not fine chocolate. I'm not even sure you can call that chocolate based on the low amount of cacao that's in
all
it.
the fats and everything.
And all the fats. It's too oily and sweet for me, but if it's too alien sweet for you, you shouldn't have bought this particular. You shouldn't have bought candy.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be sweet. It's candy. For what it is, it's a successful representation of what it is. There's a reason this brand has been around for a while, and you see it everywhere.
That surprises
me. What they were
me.
trying to do, they did.
Yeah. So that was a surprise. So we started off with one conception of how this was going to be.
And the name butter oil was so off-putting.
Yeah,
it gave me a mental beforehand. It gave me a certain way of thinking about it, but it wasn't that.
No. And another rule of thumb that we know, and we're discovering it over and over again. Mm-hmm. If the inclusion is really good, if the inclusion is well done, it can bring up.
That's right.
It can bring up bad chocolate.
We know this is bad chocolate, but the inclusion makes it an acceptable piece of candy.
Yes. So if you're making a bar, or you're making some kind of a product at home, or you're making some treats, nail the inclusion.
Nail the inclusion,
because, and that can take care of the entire thing.
1 plus 1 can be minus something. It could be 1.2, or it could be 5.
Yeah.
We've had with the lint bar with the inclusions was like more than the sum of its parts. This is fully the sum of its parts.
This is fully the sum of its, but it's passable.
Yes.
It's passable. Yep. It's too sweet for my taste. Mm-hmm. But if you like a sweeter milk chocolate and you like hazelnuts and almonds, this is actually not too bad.
And most importantly, there's nothing off in what's lingering.
Correct. There's and sometimes you get the rancidness.
I would rather
of
not
milk
have
fats.
the sweetness in there, but frankly, for what it is, there's nothing off about it. I'm giving it a thumbs up because
for what
it's
it is.
Candy.
Yeah.
And you can't judge candy by the basis of fine chocolate.
Yeah.
This does what it says it's going to do.
Yep. So all right, there you go. This is the Ferrero Rocher milk chocolate and almond. I don't know where you can find it. Wherever they sell
Mr. Ferrero and Miss Rocher.
Rocher, pardon me, Rocher.
To Miss Rocher, you're a lovely woman. To Mr. Ferrero, we're giving you a qualified thumbs up. Yes.
How do you say that? Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
So switch them from German to Italian.
Now they're Italian.
How do you
Ciao bella.
Ciao bella. Auf Wiedersehen. All right. Have a nice one, everybody.